We don't buy a ton of Lego, but when we do, oftentimes we really like it. But then came the Burrow, the 2,400 piece depiction of the Weasley home from Harry Potter. And we were very, very torn about this set. So we built it and we've played with it, we've analyzed it, we've taken a deep dive into it. After all of that, I think it's a lot better than I expected. However, it is a pretty divisive set in our household, so stay tuned to find out why. The set comes in 24 numbered bags inside both the usually black backgrounded box and a white insert box. Inside the latter are the instruction manuals and stickers. The first thing we noticed from our perspective was that there are 3 manuals. The first 2 concerning the front part of the Burrow and the last one for the back section. The natural breaks in the instructions were helpful for building this together, as you can easily split this up among 2 or 3 people. The 2 sticker sheets contain over 30 stickers though, which was a bit much and distracted me from the building experience. Mind you, I don't hate stickers, so if you are someone who can't stand them, I don't think this is going to be the set for you. You start the main build with the Pigpen, which is much larger than its counterparts from the previous 2 versions of the Burrow. The height of the pen wall, capped off by the dark orange double slopes, is sufficient, although there isn't much in terms of landscaping surrounding it. You do get this trough on the left-hand side, though it's not all that accessible from inside the pen. Where this set shines, especially when compared to the previous 2 versions, is that it has considerable depth. This is largely due to the fact that it has a full back section to the set, whereas the others don't. Now, the 22 stud depth means you get plenty of rooms. In fact, a bed is available for each member of the Weasley family still living at home as of the Chamber of Secrets, along with a bathroom, the attic, a kitchen, dining table, and the chimney. So in this way, the Burrow is rather spacious for a Lego house. It is nearly a fully developed home, unlike what we normally get in Lego sets. However, within such largesse is a cramped interior that is difficult to access if you care about such things. Let's examine the bathroom as an example of this. It is a 4x10 space, including the walls, and has enough room for a sink, toilet, a shelf, and 2 studs on which you can place a minifig. Or check out the master bedroom, which has a bed big enough for both Molly and Arthur, 2 shelves along the walls, and 2 rows of studs tucked in along one side. If you're looking for real room to maneuver minifigs or even your hands, this room isn't very good, although others fare slightly better, such as the twins room, which is fairly wide. Ron's actually has some carpeting, and Ginny's is much more conventional with a bed, table, and rug, as is Percy's. The kitchen is another example of this. There's a sink that includes a play feature allowing you to scrub a pan, just like what you see when Harry first enters the Burrow prior to year 2 at Hogwarts. There are no actual cupboards, although there are some drawers, and in fact, there is no way to access the entryway for the front door, although access is a little bit better for the back door. This is the reality of the Collector's Edition Burrow, and that is there are so many trade-offs, it's hard to really understand what this set is all about. Now, compare this to the 2020 version, and it's not a surprise that it's bigger, that it's more intricately designed, has some more details, and has a bit more space. But is it a display set? Is it a play set because of the play features? Is it a parts pack? Is it a love letter to the Harry Potter and Ron Weasley fan community out there? And really, because of all the trade-offs in terms of trying to do so much with this set, I think it loses a little bit of its appeal for a lot of it. I'll show you what I mean by taking these questions one at a time. This is not a terrible display piece, relatively speaking. It's one building so that all of the pieces in the set go toward this effort. Nothing is wasted on side builds like a fiery swamp or stud launchers like the past versions of the Burrow. There are unique angles that are required for such a rickety, magical home, and they are executed well. For instance, we get 3 sets of 45-degree angled windows, which make this a unique structure. And there's that one plate offset angle at the front that stands out as not only fittingly suitable for the Burrow, but also as a fun building technique. Additional details include uneven wood paneling, some uniquely shingled sections of the roof, and this really, really cool slanted window in the back. The snot work along the first level walls is very well done using the newer bracket pieces with the centered part to it. One small aspect that I really appreciate is the little wooden supports at the corners of the first level. I honestly found this section of the build to be rewarding and among the overall highlights. Placed on a shelf, it looks okay. It's immediately recognizable as the Burrow, and the presence overall isn't all that overwhelming, which is maybe a good thing. After getting sets like Burrow and the Tournament Temple City, both of which are massive, this one is much more compact. It can also work well on an end table for those of you who either lack the stereotypical LEGO YouTuber shelving, or you want a more distinct display space for this set. Unlike many 18+ sets, this set has quite a few play features built into it. Now, I want to be completely transparent. I don't think age on the box means anything, and I'm also not a huge fan of play features, as I prefer display or pieces, but I know there are some people that really might appreciate those kinds of details. Interestingly, nearly all of the play features are packed into one small area. We start with the dishwashing feature, which is well executed. You push this Technic axle and the brush moves. A rubber stopper pushes it back into place so that you can mimic the back and forth movement of the dishwashing scene in the movie. On the other side of the kitchen is the Weasley clock, which uses an external Technic gear to turn the spoon-like hands on the clock to show where each Weasley is. The clock is just a 2x2 tile with a sticker on it, so it's not actually all that functional, as none of the Weasley family members change location. I understand the need for the clock to be included in the set, but this play feature doesn't add anything to the Burrow. Of course, the main play feature is the fireplace with the flue network, which operates very smoothly. You place a minifig on this bracket, turn a gear above the fireplace, and it disappears. Interestingly, it is perhaps the biggest one component of the build other than the exterior. It consumes a 6x5 area that continues up for about 16 studs. It also uses these new worm gears in bright green, which look a lot like Twizzlers, although I doubt they taste nearly as good. While not a play feature, we do get the magically knitted sweater tucked away in this corner right here. It's just a 2x3 tile element with clips on it and a sticker, but what makes it notable is the accompanying spool of red yarn next to it. This is a really cool detail in my opinion, although my kids weren't really huge fans of it. So is this set a parts pack? Well, like the display components, I think there are some positives and some weaknesses when it comes to the pieces. There are a lot more new or rare pieces than I originally thought there were when I did my initial breakdown, including the worm gear that I just mentioned in bright green, a 2x1 18-degree slope in bright light blue, a new version of Errol the Owl, dark brown 3x3 corner plates, dark orange double curved corner slopes, a dark tan triangle tile, dark turquoise 1x2x3 windows, a 1x3 curved plate in medium nougat, a pearl gold chicken, the 1x2 brackets that are centered in reddish brown double inverted slopes, the 2x4 45-degree slope in sand blue, a tan hairbrush, and this new UK power socket printing on a 1x1 tile. But these account for a very small percentage of the total piece count. Instead, we're treated with a cornucopia of bricks, tiles, and modified bricks. If you're into building structures with your Lego, you could do a lot worse than this set. However, given the price, there are better deals to get similarly useful bricks. That leads me to analyze the question of whether or not this really is just a love letter to Harry Potter fans, especially those who like the Weasleys. And honestly, there is ample evidence for this. The set is jam-packed with details. There's a small set of drawers tucked into the kitchen, a dining table that seats 7 but could fit 8 when Harry visits, although there is no chair readily available for him, and a bunch of stickers that try to replicate the intricacies of the Weasleys' kitchen to, I think, limited effect. Fred and George's room has some cool Easter eggs with a box decorated with what will become their Weasley's Wizard Wheezes logo, along with a printed 1x1 tile meant to be an extendable ear. One of the beds has the sheet pulled back slightly while the other is neatly made. Molly and Arthur's bed is depicted to be a bit ragtag with a patched quilt sticker atop a 4x4 tile, and Arthur appears to have a number of Muggle artifacts displayed on the shelves. Percy's bed has a Gryffindor bedspread alongside a small desk and chair, and across from his room is the bathroom with wallpaper stickers, a sticker depicting a shelf with toiletries, a small plant, and a rubber duck. Assuming that there is an invisible bathtub somewhere in the set, perhaps Harry was finally able to tell Arthur what exactly is the purpose of a rubber duck. Ginny's and Ron's rooms are suitable for adolescents, with posters and trinkets showing off their particular interests. For Ginny, it's the Holyhead Harpies, Weird Sisters, Gwenog Jones, and Harry Potter. For Ron, it's the Chudley Cannons and clocks. There is a small attic that lacks the family ghoul, although it does have a spider, a box of Birdie Bots Every Flavor beans, and a mug, perhaps for said invisible ghoul. You may have noticed that, in detailing the interior, there were a bunch of stickers used. I'm not a huge fan of many of the stickers, while I acknowledge that LEGO has a reasonable justification for producing some of them. But another area where we see stickers is the stained glass windows, which all make use of a unique sticker design. And honestly, I don't mind how they incorporate the stickers here. However, I will ding LEGO for relying on stickers to provide a bulk of the kitchen details. It makes sense given the space constraints, but the graphics feel out of place in the 2024 era of LEGO, where we expect brick-built details. Another pet peeve of mine is placing stickers over round elements, and you need to do this for the awning above Ron's balcony door. I got them on okay, but I think I was a bit lucky. And of course, there are the minifigs, where we get Bill and Charlie for the first time, and some unique and much needed updated versions of Molly and Arthur. You have Percy in his PJs with unkempt hair, which is a very nice inclusion, and I'm a huge fan of the slightly dopey, sweatered versions of Fred and George. Really though, Bill, Charlie, Molly, and Arthur are the highlights here. So is the Burrow a display piece, a parts pack, a playset, or a love letter to the Harry Potter LEGO community? And I think clearly it is the latter of those options. In fact, as a display piece, I think it looks good, but probably works even better if you open it up so that people can see all of the details on the inside. After all, they put considerable amount of time, effort, and pieces into the interior, meaning they didn't put as much on the exterior, given that trade-off there. Add to that the fact that you've got some play features, including one or two that I think are pretty superfluous, along with every single Weasley family member, including Bill and George. I think it's pretty clear that LEGO designed this to be for Harry Potter fans, even though they knew that it might limit the market appeal of this particular set. And that really seems to be the purpose of this set. It is designed to be for LEGO Harry Potter fans, and they know there's a market for that. People that have purchased the Hogwarts Express, the Gringotts set, even the Collector's Edition Moments set where they have Hedwig and some of the other artifacts from Harry Potter, and of course Diagon Alley. But building the set wasn't the engaging experience outside of being a fan of Harry Potter. And enjoying the Easter eggs is different than enjoying the build itself, which I found myself doing much more when I built sets like Rivendell, the Lion Knight's Castle, and the Medieval Blacksmith Shop. When viewed this way, the set doesn't break a ton of new ground in that sense. In fact, if you take a look at the roof techniques here, they're really just the same as the other Burrow versions and are the same techniques used since the 1960s when LEGO has used slope pieces for roofs. Some of the ingenuity is there at some aspects of the build, which I greatly enjoyed, but broadly speaking, it didn't have that same effect as some of those other sets I just mentioned. So what do we rate this set, and do we recommend buying it? Well, I'll start off with my own opinion on this. I was leaning a 7 or an 8 out of 10, given that it was enjoyable, especially as a Harry Potter fan. All those Easter eggs were so much fun. My kids were less enthralled with it though. They helped build it and they played with it and they looked at some of it and they were more toward like a 6 out of 10. And so averaging that out, we're at a 7 out of 10 collectively as a family. I do think that it is a worthwhile build if you are a Harry Potter fan, as I am, but if you're a general LEGO fan, it's not something that you're probably gonna wanna get, nor would I recommend it as a parts pack, because as I mentioned earlier in the video, you can find better sets for better prices, they give you these kinds of pieces. To me, one of the big questions remaining is this a set worth getting over the 2020 version of the Burrow, which we have and are considering doing a comparison video. I think it's telling that this set at $260 US and 2,400 pieces is significantly bigger, but more expensive and maybe not as good of a value as the 2020 version, which is 1,100 pieces. And you can get used on Bricklink for about $85. You can get new copies at a little bit higher than that, a little bit higher than the regular retail price. And so I think we're going to be making that comparison video so that we can maybe make a better recommendation when it comes to this. But for now, I would say if you're a Harry Potter fan, you like all of the collector's edition sets, by all means get this. But if you're on the fence, I wouldn't recommend it for everyone. Thanks for watching, and always remember to keep building together.